Let's begin by taking a seat. Find any position that's comfortable for you. I recommend maybe sitting with your heels or your ankles crossed, but you're also welcome to cross your shins or have your legs extended. Maybe use your hands to move the flesh away from your sit bones and bring your hands towards your knees or your thighs. And just start to let your eyes close if that feels okay. You can also take a downcast gaze and just sort of gently bring your awareness to a focal point on the floor in front of you. And we're going to enter this practice with the breath and our awareness. Maybe bring your attention to the sounds that are in the room around you. Then bring your awareness to any sensations that are on your skin, like your hair or your clothing, or even the temperature in the room. Then bring your awareness to sensations that are within your body. Start to notice how you're feeling this morning. What's your mood like? And what's your energy level like? Just start to make observations without any judgments. And finally, bring your awareness to your breathing in and out through the nose. There's no need to make any changes. Just start to notice how your breath is flowing this morning. And we'll take about 5 deep breaths in silence. With your next exhalation, begin to lower your chin down towards your collarbone and let your eyes blink open slowly. And bring your chin to a neutral position. All right, so to get started, just come into kneeling. You have a few options here. You can tuck your toes under and take a kneeling position on your heels, or if that's uncomfortable, maybe you sit on the tops of the feet. But we want to find something that brings symmetry into both sides of the body. You can then take your hands behind you, interlace your fingers so that the webbings of your fingers touch, and start to squeeze your elbows and shoulders together. From there, maybe you take both of your hips or both of your hands towards your right hip, draw your right elbow and right shoulder back, and then begin to bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. Before we start flowing and moving and bouncing around, sometimes it's nice to just check in with the body and start to relax those areas that can get really tight overnight. Take one more full breath here. And on your next inhalation, lift the head, change the hands so that both hands are coming towards your left hip. Draw the left elbow and left shoulder back and down. And then we'll take left ear to left shoulder, bringing the stretch into the opposite side of the neck. It may feel good to sort of tilt your chin forward and back until you feel just a nice amount of sensation on the outside of the neck, top of the shoulder. 2 more breaths here. Nice. And then use your inhalation to lift the head up. Shake out the shoulders, and let's get right into a little bit of movement. So you can begin in hands and knees pose, taking your hands so that they're right under your shoulders, bringing your knees under your hips. Let your knees touch, or bring the tops of the feet to the floor. Now, if this is too much on your wrist, maybe take your hands slightly forward and decrease the bend of the wrist. Start off by taking your right leg out behind you. Keep all 5 toes pointed towards the ground. Keep your right hip point in line with your left hip point and lift the heel as high as you comfortably can. That feels good, work here. You can also come onto your left fingertips or take your left arm out in front of you. Inhale, extend, reach as high as you can. Exhale, bring elbow and knee together. Inhale to lift and extend. Exhale, elbow, knee together. Just like that, 3 more times. Inhale. Exhale, pull the belly button away from the floor. Inhale, lift, pull the belly in. Exhale, arch the back, broaden the shoulders. Final time. Inhale to lift. Exhale, take that left hand down to the mat, bend into your right knee, and we're just gonna do 10 pulses up towards the ceiling. So we'll take it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. You can let that knee come down to the mat. I'm gonna turn sideways just so that you can see where I'm going a little bit better. Take that same right knee. We're gonna bring it out in line with your right hip and hold it here, just like a little puppy at a fire hydrant. And we'll pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Extend the right leg, hold it there, 2 breaths. And now we'll go ahead and release that foot down onto the mat and make our way up into gate pose, please. Stack your hips directly over your knee and take a position that's comfortable for your ankle. So maybe your toes point forward or you bring a little angle into the foot. We just want the foot to be rounded. We're gonna do a gate pose flow here. So you can start by taking your right hand down towards your right shin or your thigh. Roll your chest open so that your heart is up towards the ceiling, and then reach and extend through the left arm. Nice. Take 2 more full breaths here. Notice if your rib cage is flaring forward, bring your ribs in line with your hips. Engage the core. And then as you exhale, cartwheel the hands down, take the counter pose. Left hand to the mat, right arm extends. Long line of energy from the tips of your fingers all the way to the outside of your heel. 2 breaths here. And now we'll take 1 movement per breath. Inhaling to bring ourselves into gate pose. Exhale to cartwheel the hands down. Inhale your way into gate pose. And exhale the hands down. Nice, just like that. 3 more times. Start to initiate the movement from your core rather than relying on your momentum. Start to warm up the side bodies while opening up the shoulders. This is the final time. Nice. Come back into your gate pose. Maybe you start to lift that right hand away from your arm as if you're holding a massive beach ball. Extend both sides of the body for 5, 4, 3, pull the navel in, 2, 1, and release. Very nice. Take that right leg back in. We're going to do that same sequence on the other side. So your wrists are directly under the shoulders. Knees are together, tops of the feet rest on the mat. Take your left foot back this time. All 5 toes point down to the mat. It's so tempting to open that hip. Resist the urge. Pull your belly button away from the floor. Create a small arch in the low back. From there, you can work in this space, come into your right fingertips, or extend that right arm out. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, tiger curl in. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, knee to elbow. 3 more times. Each time, see if you can pull your navel a little bit farther from the floor. Maybe reach and extend a little higher. Final time. 1 more just for good measure. Awesome. From there, go ahead and extend that right leg or left leg back, bend into the left knee. Squeeze your heel in towards your glute as much as you can and pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and beautiful. I'm going to turn sideways. You stay right where you are. Take that left knee out so that it's kind of in line with your hip and pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. You got it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Extend the left leg. Keep the foot in line with the hip for 2 breaths. Press evenly into both hands for balance. And release the foot down. Nice. Ooh, that always burns. Okay, so from here, we're going into our gate pose foundation. So start off with the left hand on your left shin or left thigh. Inhale, reach that right arm up. Draw back through your right shoulder. Let your heart shine up towards the ceiling. 2 more breaths here. Pull the belly in. And then you can start to use your next exhalation to cartwheel the hands down, counter pose. Long line of energy here. Really pressing the outer edge of your left foot. Reach and extend through those fingertips. And now we flow. Inhale to come up. Use your exhalation to cartwheel down. Take it nice and slow through the side bodies. Inhale up. And exhale your way back down, just like that, 3 more times. It's raining so hard where I am right now, so I'm not sure if you guys can hear that through the microphone. It's kind of soothing, kind of nice. Also, makes you remember just how wet it is outside. Final time. Beautiful. Now we're coming into that beach ball hold. So start off with a firm foundation. Drag your foot towards your knee. Really engage the legs. This is your powerhouse. From there, you can reach out through your left arm. Hold that giant beach ball for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Good job, you guys. Find a child's pose. Take your knees nice and wide. Bring your big toes together. Sink your sit bones back towards your heels. And then reach your arms forward. You can keep your forehead or your chin down on the mat. I'm going to keep my head lifted just to talk to you guys. But take this opportunity to check in and see how you're feeling. Notice if you want to pump up your energy level and maybe take some of the other options that I offer, or if it's better in your body to sort of dial back and create a little bit more sacred space for yourself there. So just take a moment. Notice what your body needs as you get your breath. Maybe you also take this opportunity to set an intention for your practice. Take whatever you need for the next 3 breaths. With that next inhalation, start to make your way back into hands and knees pose, please. Take your hands on your shoulders, bring your knees hip distance apart this time. Grip into the mat with your fingertips so that your knuckles lift. Create a little suction cup under the palms. And we're going to tuck the toes under here. Then imagine that there is a string attached to your navel. That string is going to pull the navel up towards the ceiling. Keep pulling up until your knees lift. Press into your hands. Hold here. The knees are just hovering above the mat. The core is firing up and engaged. Maybe you drag your hands towards your feet towards your hands, get the whole body involved. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, almost there. 4, 3, 2, 1, downward facing dog, please. Nice. Take this opportunity to maybe pedal out your feet if that feels good. Take just a few breaths to shift from one side to the other, create some space in the sides of the body. And then we'll all come into a little bit of stillness. Rooting down through the heels, and if they don't touch the mat, just let them sort of anchor their way towards the mat. Maybe you press the hands down and forward. Imagine you can draw your forearms towards one another. Press all 5 of your fingertips on each hand down into the mat. Take your gaze forward, put a slight bend into your knees, and then just start to tiptoe towards the front of your mat. Beautiful. From here, take your elbows towards the ceiling, hands to your hips, come up with a flat back. Awesome. Great work, you guys. Now for a little bit of our standing movement. All right, so at the front of your mat, bring your feet together. We're coming into a modification of sun salutation beat. So we'll inhale, take the arms up, gaze up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold, bend your knees if you'd like to. Inhale, step back with the right foot, find your low lunge. And then as you exhale, step to the front of the mat, find a forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up to standing, fingertips and gaze overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Slight modification, let's keep going. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step the left foot back, find your low lunge. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come up to standing, fingertips gaze overhead. Exhale, hand to heart. Twice more, just like that. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, right foot back, low lunge. Exhale, forward fold, top of the mat. Inhale, come up to standing, fingertips and gaze up. Exhale, hands to heart, final time. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold. Inhale, left foot back this time, gaze up, nice and strong in the legs. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to come up to standing, fingertips and gaze overhead. Exhale, take your hands to your heart center. Start to notice how you're feeling now, feeling maybe a little bit warmer. We're gonna go into our first sequence here. So take your hands to your hips, bring your weight into your left foot, and start to bring your right knee in line with your right hip. Use your breath to help bring a little more stability to your core, to your chest. Send that breath all the way down to your left foot. Next time you're ready to exhale, shift your weight into that left foot, hinge at the hips. Take your right foot all the way to the back of the mat. Find your position for a high lunge. Stack your left knee over your left ankle. Draw your left hip back, right hip forward, and start to stack your back heel over the ball of your foot. Now notice if you have a deep back bend here, that may be a cue that there's a little bit too much happening, too much sensation going on in your hip flexor. So it may feel good to bend your right knee a little bit, draw the ribs over the hips, and then from there, straighten your back leg as much as you comfortably can, right? So it doesn't have to be straight, you're sort of aiming in that direction. Inhale to take the arms up. Sink a little bit deeper into that left leg. About 2 breaths here, dragging the feet towards one another, staying super active in the legs. Nice. Use your exhalation, draw the shoulder blades towards one another, squeeze the elbows in, find cactus arms. Work here, if you like a little back bend, maybe you start to open your heart towards the ceiling. About 3 to 5 breaths here. Maybe lift the sternum a little more, sink a little bit deeper into that front leg. Start to feel that acid building. And then as you exhale, take your hands to your heart, step towards the front of the mat. One big step or lots of little steps, whatever feels good to you. We're gonna do it nice and slow on the opposite side and then flow with it on the breath. So shift your weight into the right foot. Inhale, lift the left foot up. I like to call this Captain Morgan pose. Kind of reminds me of the Captain Morgan label. I don't know if I can say that here, but it does. All right, start to take that left foot all the way to the back of the mat. Find your high lunge. Align the legs, get nice and stable in your foundation. Draw that belly in, strong through your center. Inhale, arms up. Take a little look down at your right foot. Can you see your right big toe? If so, awesome. If not, start to track that right knee towards the pinky edge of your foot. Exhale, cactus arms. Lift the heart, lift the gaze if that felt good on side one. Take about 3 deep breaths here. Beautiful. Final breath. Use your exhalation to take your hands to your heart and shift your weight forward, step forward. Same sequence, 1 movement per breath. Let's do it. Inhale, right foot up. Exhale, step the right foot to the back of the mat. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale, hands to hips. Exhale, step forward. Same thing, other side. Inhale, left foot up. Exhale, step to the back of the mat. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale, our hands to waist. Exhale, step forward. Same thing. Inhale, left, right leg up. Exhale, take it into your high lunge. Arms up. Exhale to the back bend. Inhale, upright. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, left foot up. Exhale, left foot back. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, heart opener. Inhale to come upright. And exhale, step it to the front of the mat. Nice. Shake it out a little. Second sequence, we'll step through it, and then we'll go through it as a flow. This time, we're going to start by taking the left foot all the way to the back of the mat. Find your warrior two. Bring your arms parallel to the floor. Palms down. Your arms are super strong here. No little chicken arms, right? Power through the arms. Take your gaze towards your right fingertips. Maybe you sink a little bit more into that right leg without leaning forward. Try to find the balance in the center. Take 3 breaths here. I find that I breathe really quickly, so take about 3 breaths. Beautiful. From there, find your reverse warrior, flipping your right palm up towards the ceiling. Reach and extend through the right side body. You can let those left fingertips just tickle your left leg, or wrap the left arm around your low back. Yogi's choice. Awesome. Final breath here. Use your inhalation to straighten that right leg, reverse triangle. 3 to 5 breaths here, just depending on how quickly or slowly you breathe. Keep reaching and extending through the right side. See if you can separate each little rib from one another. Final breath. And then we're going to take hold of our imaginary beach ball. So to reach towards the front edge of the mat and come to an elevated triangle pose. So imagine that you can get your right side body parallel to the floor. Drag your feet in towards one another. That'll give you some support. Lift your left kneecap to power up your back leg for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and triangle pose. Maybe your right hand finds the floor, the shin, or your ankle. Left arm is extended up. Draw your ribs back in line with your hips. Try not to take this into a back bend yet. And you can press your arm and your leg together, get a little traction, open your chest towards the ceiling. Beautifully done, you guys. Nice. We're gonna take one more deep breath here. And then with your next inhalation, imagine that you could pull your left arm up by a rope. Help you return into warrior two as our transition. We're gonna walk that back foot in slightly and then step to the front of the mat. So we'll take that sequence on our left side. We're going, or right side. Step your right foot to the back of the mat, please. Find your warrior two. Draw your shoulder blades together. So if you find that your shoulders are just relaxing forward, activate the shoulder blades, squeeze them in towards one another. Nice deep bend in your left leg. Maybe you bend a little bit deeper. Final breath. Reverse your warrior. Minimize the weight that you have in this hand if you are pressing onto the leg. Try to use your core strength for support. Great way to test that is just to take the half bind. 2 more breaths here. Awesome. So just straighten into that front leg, reach and extend back a little more, 3 to 5 breaths. In your reverse triangle. And then grab your beach ball, here we go. Use your exhalation, hinge at the hips, kick your hips towards the back edge of your mat, reach that beach ball forward. If you find there's a lot of tension in your front leg, maybe you put a micro bend there. For 3, 2, 1, triangle pose. Take about 3 to 5 breaths here. Feel nice and long and strong throughout the body. Roll your right rib cage back and your left rib cage forward. Oh, I love triangle pose. Okay, well again, reach onto our imaginary rope, pull ourselves up, find our warrior two. Start to walk your back foot in slightly, and then step to the front of your mat. Okay, so I know my breaths are maybe a little faster or shorter than yours. We're gonna work on that together. And we're gonna take this one breath at a Step back with your left foot. Warrior two on your inhalation. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, reverse triangle. Exhale, beach ball. Inhale, triangle. Exhale, pull yourself up, warrior two. Inhale to step towards the front of the mat. Exhale, take your hands to your hips. Good job, opposite side. Inhale, take that right leg back. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Inhale, reverse triangle. Exhale, beach ball. Inhale, warrior two, triangle. And then exhale to pull yourself up. Inhale to step towards the front of your mat. Exhale, hands to heart. Good work, you guys. Let's find a child's pose. Come down to the mat. Take your knees wide. And maybe you sit the sit bones directly onto your heels, and from there, crawl the hands forward. Forehead rests onto the mat. We'll take about 5 to 7 breaths here. I'm lifted just to speak to you guys. Please feel free to enjoy this child's pose. Maybe go grab a drink of water. Use your towel to wipe down a little. Check in with your breathing. See if it still feels good to you. See if you'd like to slow it down a little. Nice. Final breath. And we'll make our way out of this child's pose and come back to standing. All right. I wish that I could see your faces so that I could check in with you, see how you're doing, see how things are going. But yeah, take what you need from this practice. If you want to take a little more challenging postures, please feel free to do so. If you want to slow it down a bit, maybe do fewer repetitions, you're always welcome to do that as well. But please just take care of yourself as we go along. We're going to come into a chair pose and skier flow, just alternating between two postures. So there's a couple approaches to chair pose. Some of us will do something that's a little more like Iyengar or Ashtanga focus, where you keep the back upright. We're going to go for bringing our thighs parallel to the floor. So use your inhalation to sweep the fingertips down, reach the arms up, sit back into your imaginary chair. Imagine you could, in a perfect world, bring your thighs parallel to the ground. Shift your weight into your heels. If bringing your arms directly up doesn't feel good, take cactus arms. For 3, 2, 1, sweep the arms back, palms up to the ceiling, rock your weight forward into the balls of your feet, and maybe lift your heels. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One breath per movement. Inhale to chair. Exhale, skier. Inhale, chair. Exhale, skier. 3 more times, just like that. See if you can sink a little deeper into your chair. Rise a little higher onto your heels. 2 more. Squeeze those legs in together. Let it burn. It's all right. It's good for you. Final time. Woo! All right. Forward fold. Yes. Straighten those legs to capacity. Leave a little bend in the knees if you like. Let the head hang. Even weight between the balls of your feet and your heels. 5 breaths. Awesome. Take one more full breath here. Great job, you guys. Take your fingertips down to the mat. Step your left foot back and just rotate 90 degrees so that you're facing the long edge of your mat, please. From there, turn your toes out about 45 degrees, bend into the knees, and come upright. We're going to find our goddess pose. So for goddess, one of the most important things is just to make sure that your knees are still in line with your feet, particularly your center toes, and that your knees aren't bowing inward. So I'm going to bring my feet in just a little bit more. I'm gonna bend into my knees. Use your muscles to draw your knees apart from one another. Look down. Actually make sure that you can see your big toes. Make sure that the knees are tracking over the center of your foot. Sink a little bit lower. You can use the back of your hands to really press the thighs open. Drop the tailbone towards the mat. Maybe let your index and your middle finger touch if that feels good. It may help with your balance. For 10, 9, 8, keep pressing those hands in. 6, 5, 4, 3, sink a little bit lower. 1, beautiful. Straighten the legs. Bring your feet to parallel. And we're going to take a forward fold here. So hands come to hips. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, hinge at those hips, forward fold. Beautiful. Maybe you take a couple different options here. I'll turn sideways so it's a little easier to see. You can take your peace fingers to your big toes, create a little yogi grip, and fold forward. Or maybe it feels good to walk your hands between the legs. Whatever your heart's desire for the next 5 breaths, go ahead and take that in. No matter where you are, you want to lengthen the crown of the head towards the floor. Traction your feet away from one another so that you can broaden your sit bones. And think about pulling your low belly in. See if that makes a little bit more space for your fold. Nice. Final breath here. And then use your end flexion and take your hands towards the floor. Rotate, and I'll try to mirror you on this, but rotate your right toes out 45 degrees and take your left toes so that they're running parallel to the long edge of the mat. We're coming into Skandasana. So bend over your right knee. Find a little squat. It's okay if your heel is lifted here. For most bodies, I think that's going to be the case. If you're able to get your heel to touch the floor, that's great too. But in any case, we're drawing our energy in opposite directions here. So imagine that you can extend through your left leg all the way to the other side of the room. Press your forearm or tricep into that right knee. Help that open a little bit. We'll take about 5 breaths here. If hands to heart isn't working for you, bring your hands to the floor or even sort of hover them out in front of you. Yogi's choice. Beautiful. 2 more full breaths. And then we're just going to switch sides. So you may take that transition with the arms floating if you're feeling super powerful today, or you can bring your hands to the floor, ease your way into that transition. So this time you have your right leg extending. Maybe your heel comes to the floor, maybe it doesn't matter. Press your left tricep into your left leg. Maybe you take your hands to your heart, maybe you keep your hands to the floor. Find what works for you and your hips this morning. We'll take about 5 breaths here. Stretches like this always feel so good after being in a seated position like all day, or even when you're waking up in the morning. It's just good to bring a little extra fluid and movement to the hips. Nice. Take your fingertips towards the floor. Bring your weight towards center and start to come upright. So we're going to take that Skandasana flow from left to right, and we're going to do it 10 times. Couple things to keep in mind here. Make sure that your toes are always tracking over your knees. Second thing, it does not matter if your heel touches the mat each time that you switch sides. Take care of your knee and do what works in your body. Lastly, try to have some fun because this honestly sucks. All right, we're going to take it over to our right side first. Right side. Inhale, center. Exhale, left side. Yeah. Inhale. Exhale. This is 2. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. This is 3. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale and exhale. This is 4. You got it. You guys are doing great. Try to use the muscles of your hips, 5, to draw yourself up. Maybe stick your booty back a little bit. And see if you can minimize how much you're just rocking. Rocking will make this a little bit easier, but it also means you're getting less out of the hips. So we want to get as much out of this as we can. Oh, why did I put this in the practice? This is all my fault. I think this is 7. 8. All right, guys. We are almost there. 9. You got it. Try to keep the chest and the heart lifted. Minimize collapsing through the chest. Final rep. You guys have made it to the end. Woo, we made it. Just sit. Just sit on the floor. Just collapse. I'm going to swing so that my legs are towards the right or front side of the mat. Use your hands with those cushions out of the way of your seat. From there, we're going to take our left foot, bring the left foot in towards the right thigh. Use your hands to help rotate your chest and your belly button towards your right foot. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. We did all that nice work warming up everything so that we can get this little stretch in. We have one more like little tiny standing sequence. I'm going to take you in after that, and then everything else is down on the floor on the mat. I promise. It's good stuff. Inhale, come up, switch sides. Left leg extends, sole of the right foot comes in towards the leg. We're going to rotate the belly button and the gaze towards our left foot. Lengthen the spine on your inhalation. Exhale, fold. Take about 3 more breaths here. Doesn't matter if your hand's on your foot or the mat, it's a long spine and a connection between your thigh and your chest that kind of matter most. Beautiful. Inhale to come up and make your way to standing. So for our peak posture / peak sequence, it's a balancing series. So it's going to take us into hand to big toe. We're going to rotate that out to the side and then take it back to dancer. So that's why we've been warming up our hips and our hammies and all that good stuff. So we'll start off with level 1, we'll move into level 2, and you're always welcome to repeat level 1 if you would like. Start off with your big toes touching. Take your center of your feet forward, hands to hips. Inhale, shift your weight into your right foot, lift your left knee. Stack ears, shoulders, and hips. Take 2 more full breaths here, pulling your navel in and up, knitting your rib cage together. Nice. Exhale, start to open the hip. Try to take your left knee in line with your hip. It may or may not make that full angle. Doesn't matter. We're just using our energy to send that leg back behind us. 2 more breaths here. Nice. Reach down with that left hand, take hold of your left foot, and find dancer prep. So we're lining up our knees, so the knees are in line with one another. We're drawing everything in and up, and we're just bringing the heel to the glute to start. 2 breaths here. Nice. And release. So we do that same sequence on the other side. Starting with hand to big toe prep. Inhale, right foot up. 3 to 5 breaths here. Notice if you're counterbalancing by leaning back, try to keep everything nice and stable over that left heel. And then we'll take the right knee out towards the right side. Use the muscles of your glutes and your hips to start to draw that right knee as far behind you as you can. 3 to 5 breaths there as well. This side is the worst. If you feel like you're shaking a little bit, that's a-okay. Keep your balance. And then we're going to drop the knees in line with one another. Take your right hand to the top of your right foot. Squeeze that heel in towards the glute. It's so tempting to let that knee drift back. No, try to keep the knees in line. Strong line from the bottom of the foot to the crown of the head. Press down through your left big toe for stability. So hard to balance while you're talking. 2 more breaths. And release. Now, we're going to do that same sequence with the leg extended and take it into our dancer pose. If that does not feel like it's part of your practice, please repeat what we just did. All right, so let's get started. Bring the feet together, shift your weight into your right foot. Inhale, take that left foot up. Use your little peace fingers to reach down, grab hold of your left big toe. Inhale to straighten and lengthen your left leg to capacity. Notice if you're hunching forward. Try not to do that. Lengthen your spine. Maybe put a micro bend in the knee if you need it. Take a few breaths here. Beautiful work, you guys. Start to open up the hip, taking your left foot in line with your left ear or thereabout. Beautiful. Bend into that left leg. Take hold of the inner edge of your left foot. Kick the foot into the hand into the foot. Start to lift that left foot out behind you. Maybe you take your right arm forward as a counterbalance. Keep the hips and shoulders squared forward-ish. So hard to balance and talk. If you fall out, just hop back into it, not the end of the world. Take about 3 to 5 breaths wherever you are. Nice. Exhale to release. See, we did it. Wasn't that bad? Take it into the other side. Weight is in your left foot. Inhaling that right leg up. Peace fingers to big toe. Extend the right leg. Straighten to capacity. More important to keep your upper body stacked than to try to straighten your leg if you're hunching forward. So I'm even having a little bend into my knee to help support that. Open the hip. Find a focal point, something steady that'll help you balance. Find your dancer pose, taking the grip to the inside edge of your right foot. Foot presses into hand, hand presses into foot. Left big toe presses into the mat for stability. Gaze is steady. Exhale, release with control. Shake it out. Whew. Yay, you guys did great. All right, let's take it down to the mat. I'm gonna turn sideways just so that you guys can see what I'm doing, but you're welcome to face the front of your mat. We're gonna do cosmic abs. I feel like time is like in some sort of weird warp. I seriously feel like we've been moving for an hour already, but we have more time. So we're gonna come into cosmic abs, which is something that I picked up from Darren Rhodes. You might not encounter it in every Hatha or Vinyasa class that you take. But you want to bring your knees together, soles of the feet to the floor, and then let both of your knees shift towards the right side. I'm gonna try to mirror this for you guys. Your torso turns towards the left. Rock back onto your sit bones. Maybe you come up onto your toes. Maybe you lift the toes from the mat. Use your muscles to squeeze your knees in towards your chest. If this is good, work here. If you want a little bit more, start to make bicycle movements with your feet. And then start to make rolling movements with your wrist. You can start here and then make any sort of movements that you want. The idea is that you're keeping core stability even when all the limbs of your body are just going haywire. The slower you move, actually the harder it is. So we'll take this for 10, 9, 8, 7, pull the navel in, 5, 4, 3, are your hip flexors burning? Yes. And 1, nice. Cobbler's pose, take the soles of the feet together, knees fall out wide. Inhale, lift the spine, exhale, fold. Draw your knees down to the mat, so you extend your chest towards your toes. Final breath. And then use your inhalation to come up. Same thing, other side. So we start off with the legs together. We're going to take both knees towards our left side. Torso rotates towards the right. You'll instantly find that one side feels a lot more comfortable than the other. This is my weird side. So you can either come up onto the toes or lift the toes away from the floor. Use your core muscles and your hip flexors to squeeze your body in towards the midline. Pedal the feet. Move the arms. Try to just be silly and loose with it. It doesn't matter how it looks. It's core work either way. Don't worry, I've been counting in my head. We're on 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Keep the heart up. 2, 1, and let it go. Cobbler's pose. Maybe you let the knees fall a little closer to the mat. And inhale to lift. Core work is nothing if you're not also going to do the back body. So let's come on to our belly. And I'm going to keep my head and my chest lifted just so that I can talk to you guys. You can have your chin resting on the floor to start. So go ahead and lengthen your legs out behind you. Lengthen them out, straighten them, bring your tippy toes to the mat. From there, you want to take your arms into goalpost arms. So that brings your elbows in line with your shoulders and your palms will be down to the mat. On an inhalation, lift the chest, press into your pubic bone. Pause here if this is already a ton of work for you. Press the tops of your feet into the mat. You want a little bit more, maybe you lift the elbows in line with the shoulders. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Two breaths. Take another variation. You're welcome to do what we just did, or if you want to amp it up a little bit, maybe you draw your heels in towards your glutes to come into alligator, full alligator pose. So you have the heels squeezing in towards your glutes. Your pubic bone presses into the mat. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the arms. Squeeze everything in towards the center of the body for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. We'll find ourselves into a little baby cobra. So again, press the tops of the feet into the ground. Press so hard that your kneecaps can lift. Take your hands to the outside of your rib cage. Squeeze the shoulders and elbows in. Lift the chest. Press the pubic bone down, press the feet down. Just the slightest amount of weight into your hands. You can even take your hands away if you needed to, right? This is your back, your upper back doing the work for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Final pose, little back bend for you guys. We're going to take thin heels, bring them in towards the glutes. Reach back towards your feet. Take hold of your ankles, ideally. If you want to take hold of the tops of your feet, that's okay too. But try to avoid taking hold of your toes. That can bring a lot of strain onto the toes as well as the ankles. Inhale, lift the chin, lift the chest. Press your feet into your hands into your feet. Squeeze your knees in towards the midline. Think about lifting your chest by using your back muscles, just like you did in that baby cobra. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Maybe let your knees windshield wiper from one side to the other. And I want to apologize, I did lie to you. That wasn't our final pose. We have our twist before we take Shavasana. I always like to get in some twist. So just flip yourself over like a little pancake. Come lying onto your back, please. And we're gonna keep this twist nice and simple. So you can walk your feet to the outer edges of the mat, and then let both of your knees fall towards the left side. You can let your hands rest on your belly, or take your elbows in line with your shoulders and find cactus arms, or take your arms in the shape of a T, whatever feels good. Just make sure that both of your shoulders are anchored down onto the mat, and the twist is coming from the lower back and the hips. Start to let your energy dial down. You're here in the coming Metro Atlanta area, it's raining. Just kind of let that rain ease you into some peace. Inhale to bring the knees towards center. Align your hips in the middle. Then we're going to shift the hips 1 or 2 inches off towards the left. Let both knees fall to the right. Keep both of your shoulders down on the mat, and then just make a conscious decision with the arms and the hands, whatever you did on side 1, if that feels good. You worked so hard today. This is an opportunity to just wring out all that energy, all that power that you exerted. Just start to let that ease and settle. Two more breaths. Use your inhalation to lift the knees towards center, align your hips towards center. We're going to walk our way into Shavasana nice and slow. So go ahead and extend your legs, let your feet rest about hip distance apart. And then maybe you take your hands to either side of your hips. Let your palms face up towards the ceiling. Start to draw your shoulders in towards one another so that your shoulder blades can rest nice and flat onto the ground. If you're one of those people that's always tempted to leave Shavasana or skip Shavasana, even when you're at home, I encourage you to participate in this very vital part of the practice. This is where we can receive all the benefits of everything that we just did. So starting with your eyebrows, try to soften that space between your eyebrows and release the muscles there. Release the muscles around the corners of the eyes. Maybe soften the closure between your eyelids. Soften the muscles around the mouth. Release the tongue from the top of the mouth and then just gently let it rest back. It may even feel good to swallow once. Let your shoulders feel heavy and feel fully supported by the ground beneath you. Create a little softness across the front of the chest and let that softness travel down to your belly. Just let it soften and expand. Allow your seat to feel fully supported by the mat. And permit an openness to travel down the legs, past the knees, through the ankles, and out towards the soles of the feet, just allowing all the muscles of the body to soften. Your only job now is to breathe. I'll keep my eye on the time. Don't worry about that. Just observe your breath coming in and out through the nose. And if a thought arises, that's okay. Just gently use your awareness to acknowledge that thought and then set it aside. Shavasana. Gently begin to welcome your breath and your awareness fully into the body. The nice deep inhalation and exhalation through the nose. Maybe you bring some gentle movements into your fingers, your toes, your ankles and wrists. Maybe let your chin rock gently from one side to the other. And whenever you're ready, you can bend one knee followed by the other knee, and then just come rolling towards your right side. And pause there in a side lying or fetal position, using your bottom arm as a pillow for your head. We'll take about 5 breaths in this transition space. Preparing for your yoga practice off of the mat. Whenever you're ready, begin to use your hands to press yourself into an upright seat. And we'll all come together in a cross-legged position with our palms joined towards the center of our chest and a slight bow to the chin. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me for practice this morning. Thank you for taking this time and taking care of yourself, for honoring yourself, your well-being, and your needs with this practice. The light in me bows humbly to that same light in you. Namaste. Thank you guys. I hope that this is the beginning of a marvelous day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.